Hello Ride-On people. Now I use the Cardo Edge for my intercom and all of my friends do. We used to use Senas, the old SRLs, and they were pretty terrible, to be honest with you. We all had bad experiences and we moved to the Cardo Pack-Talk Bolds and they were very good and we enjoyed those for a couple of years. And then they introduced the Edge and we all moved to the Edge and extremely happy with the performance overall. However, I ride in large groups. Now we've had up to 15 people on our Cardo Edge groups and Cardo's performed brilliantly. It's been stellar. However, there's still occasions when we do get 10 or 12 riders on and the mesh is being strained because we might be up to a mile apart and we might be in woodlands and so forth and so forth. So the bandwidth comes down a little bit, or we may just be riding in a large group in freeway speeds, and as I say, the bandwidth comes down a little bit, and that can kind of affect the clarity through the headphones. Now, the JBL 45mm headphones that Cardo offer are good, and they're a good upgrade if you're on the 40mm. However, I wanted to try something else, and some aftermarket ones have had kind of better ratings overall, so I want to try these out. Okay, so in the box, they've thoughtfully provided a nice leather long key fob and ring. Totally unnecessary, but kind of nice that they went to that trouble. Seems to be two types of spacers. It's kind of thick ones and thin ones, depending on the gap between your helmet and your luggles, your ears. And then we had the speakers themselves, which I believe somebody said they were made of titanium. I don't know about that, but they are nice quality for sure. I'm not sure. You can see that XSound 4, a reference series, it says, and then you've got the A for IASUS, and then you have these rather large speakers which are nice and deep, as you can see, and this part here is super soft and squidgy, so when you put them on you get a good seal with your ears. And these are connected to a 3.5 jack, which will fit standard intercom systems like the Cardo, which I run with the boom mic, and then you also have this connection lead here as well. Okay, so I presume you can then plug it into other external devices if you just want to treat them as regular speakers or whatever, but we're going to fit them into our intercom. So let's get the old speakers out and let's fit these. Okay, let me just quickly retract what I just said about these. They're not two different types of spacers. One has this grippy back, which will just grip to the inside of any fabric inside your helmet, and then on top of that you will stick this sticky here, which is double-sided, so one side sticks to the pad and then the other side will stick to the back of that, and then it will be secured. Now, just for reference, if you happen to have a Shui Neotech 2, I actually made use of this back compartment, which is a box to store the kind of something to do with the SRL, I can't remember, the center system. And what I did was I removed this and I inserted a little bit of foam and I hid the connector there between the Cardo device and the actual speakers themselves. so that I didn't have to hide this within the liner and it wasn't digging in my head. I actually secured the speaker cables in here, the JBLs, with some duct tape, some good old gaffer tape, but you could use anything. I'll probably just use some regular 3M decorating tape this time around. It can, depending on the tape you're using, it can use some, can leave some residue, some stickiness on the cables themselves. So something to be aware of. If you don't like that, don't use it. You'll find Velcro is a bit too bulky, but I like tape because it doesn't go anywhere. Anyway, onwards. Well, I've got the JBLs out and they're definitely looking a little worse for wear, so definitely time for a replacement. But they've done me proud so far. Okay, well, I'm getting close to fitting. I'm a bit disappointed with the website actually, because they have videos for fitting previous versions, but not this one. And previous versions have different kind of stickies, basically. And it's really difficult to work out how to attach these to the helmet sequentially. It's just that this doesn't peel off. This is double-sided, and then there's no way of attaching it to the helmet because when you look at the helmet here, it's just a plastic recess on this helmet, so you have to find a way to stick that there, basically, and then stick the ring, and then stick the outer. At least that's what I've sussed out is required. And so I've stuck this double-sided ring to the back of the speaker, and then subsequently to the pad here, and attached Velcro on the pad to the helmet itself to get it to stick. So I'm not sure that's quite right, but I can't find anything online to say otherwise. And I've had to put, as I say, a thin bit of Velcro there. And now I'm a bit worried that the overall speaker thickness is too large. This is quite a recess here, so by the time you fit it in, it does go in a long way. And of course this compresses significantly as well. And then you've got the cheek pad on top of that as well. So it may be okay, but I'm worried that they're going to stick out too far and be a bit of an issue, but we'll see. All right, fully back in. I can tidy up this tape if I want to. And speakers looking pretty good actually. So we'll see what they're like when they're on. Okay, so they're in, they're on. They feel like they don't stick out too much actually when I put my helmet on. And you can kind of feel them cupping your ears with that very, very soft outer. And I think that'll have pretty good sound deadening properties actually out on the road, which is good for ear protection. I put my earplugs in and fitted them, put the helmet on rather, and it felt okay. And I played some music through it, and you can instantly tell the bass is deeper. So that's one good thing straight away. As for volume, we'll have to see when we're out on the road. You know, some of these reviews just put it on in their house and go, oh yeah, it's amazing. Well, you know, let me, within this video, quickly do a 250-mile ride with several friends, and I'll report back my my thoughts. Well, talking of audio, I hope you can hear me okay, because I'm outside at the end of a long day, and I've just kind of finished testing these new speakers in my helmet. And there's some pros and cons. I would say the pros are that there is definitely deeper bass, and there is better stereo separation. So those two things are definitely good in terms of music, and probably the volume is a bit louder, a bit clearer. So overall those things are good. The soft outer of the speakers is very soft on the ears. I was worried it'd be quite intrusive, but it actually molds to your ears quite nicely, and that is relatively comfortable. It helps keep the sound of the audio in your ears rather than going into the helmet lining, and it also makes for a quieter ride. So you know, the engine tone is a little bit more subdued, and over the course of a long day that can be quite a good thing. So overall the audio is pretty good. It is an upgrade on the JBL's 45 mils, I would say, and you know, it definitely can protect your hearing. So I think those things are good. On the negative side of things, there's the cost. It's about $30 more than JBL 45 mils if you're looking to upgrade your existing Cardo. Also, they are pretty large, so they're certainly in the Shui Neotech. They just give you a small recess for the headphones, and it fills up the entire recess, and you can't move them around up and down, left and right. So if your ears aren't perfectly symmetrical on both sides of your head, you might find that the sound is a little bit louder through one ear than the other, possibly. The other thing is they are quite bulky. They look pretty bulky in the helmet, but I didn't really have any problems putting the helmet on and off, even though in my head I keep on thinking, you know, my ears are moving them or whatever, but it's not really the case. It's just that you can feel that very gentle liner against your ears. I do have a slight concern that, you know, on a 90-degree August day, that those liners might, you know, those outers to the speaker might heat up, you know, because there's no real room or airflow between your ears and the speakers anymore. We'll have to see, time will tell. The other thing is, as mentioned, it kind of protects your hearing because it kind of lowers the volume of the ambient sound around you, and that can be a very good thing in terms of protecting your hearing and making for a quiet ride, which you know, aids fatigue. But it can also be a bad thing if there is a vehicle around you and you're hearing less of that vehicle. It's a bit like the difference between riding with earplugs in and earplugs out, right? With earplugs in, you protect your hearing, and it's a very good thing, but there's no doubt it cuts down the amount of noise you can hear from traffic and, you know, things around you that make noise, such as my next door neighbour who's just pulled up, and he's a V8. Yeah, that's kind of a pro and a con, really. What else can I say? Of course, there's the pain of fitting them, because you've got to, you know, but you'd have that if you chose a different type of headphone set anyway, or the JBL 45 mil upgrades if you're not on those already. Do I think it's worth it? I would say that if you are looking to upgrade to JBL 45s, it's probably worth the extra $30 to buy something like this or something similar. The extra sound deadening and quality of the bass and the volume perhaps, and the clarity of the stereo seems to be better. So it's kind of like changing from the PackTalk Bold to the PackTalk Edge. It's not night and day different, but there's a tangible difference. It's better, you know, things improve over time. So I would say that's kind of worthwhile if you're moving from that. Is it worth upgrading from decent speakers already like the JBL 45s? I'd say really, if you've got deep pockets and you fancy a change, definitely, you know, well, not definitely, it's, you know, it's up to you really, but possibly. If you're having problems with your audio, your speakers aren't really cutting it for you, you're a bit of an audiophile, or perhaps you have some hearing loss and you definitely want the extra volume, yeah, it's probably worthwhile. They're not cheap, but nothing's cheap these days, is it, unfortunately? And I would say that if you're having problems with your audio and you want to go for an upgrade, it's probably worth the extra over the JBLs. But if you have JBL 45s, then generally they do what you want and generally sound okay. I would just stick with those. So that's it for the Cardo Edge with the upgraded speakers in a Shui Neotech 2. There's some pros and cons, so you spend your money, you take your choice. So verdict number 2, I went for another ride at the weekend, probably about 240 miles, something like that, with the new speakers in. And in conclusion, I can say that they're better than the 45 mils from Cardo, definitely. I noticed that the stereo is a bit better and they seem a little bit louder, but I think that's just partially due to the fact that the the soft material around the speaker just cups the ear nicely and just helps with a bit of clarity. They definitely have more bass, there's no question about that. I think the 45mm JBLs had a lot more bass than the standard speakers, but these definitely have more bass. And what I found was that the two main pros really were that at freeway speeds I was able to hear talking on the intercom far more clearly than I normally do. And also probably the biggest thing, which I didn't really even think about but is a major pro, is that it significantly cuts down on wind noise at freeway speeds. And so even though I wear custom earplugs, you still get a lot of buffeting wind at freeway speeds if you're on an unfair bike like I was. And you hear that through your helmet, and that kind of muffled white noise will obviously impact how much you can hear in terms of the comms. So I thought that was clearer. My right ear hearing is slightly down on my left, and it was kind of even more pronounced with it because the audio was clearer. I did find them very, very comfortable on my ears. Didn't have a problem getting the helmet on and off, and they didn't heat up, which was a concern with that kind of soft, almost latexy type material for the outer. I thought they might get hot on my ears, and it was quite a hot day, but no problem at all. So overall, I don't think they're aesthetically pleasing, but you don't look at them anyway, do you really? I think the backs are, but they're kind of stuck to the inner of the helmet, but the actual outer isn't much to look at, but it does its job. So I think if you're not happy with your current audio speakers, I would definitely try a pair of these. All right, take care. Hey you, if you want to become one of the Ride On people, don't forget to subscribe. Ride often, ride carefully, ride on.